And how the fuck's it going, boys? It's been fucking a while. It's only been a week. Wow, that's really fucking weird to actually be back on a schedule. We have Brandon Herrera with us this week. Gfuel presenting us as always. Thank you to Gfuel. Use code RMTS at checkout for 20% off. It's the only reason I'm still going today after being up since early this fucking morning with 2 doctor's appointments and editing videos and everything else. But we are back. Holy fucking hell. How's it been, brother? It's been a time and a half since we decided we were going to do this.
Yeah, it's been like a month. We've been trying to put this together, but no, it's good to finally be on, man. No, I appreciate you having me and whatnot. And yeah, hopefully that G Fuel keeps you alive because Jesus Christ, yeah. Waking up in the mornings is something that I kind of forgot what that was like for a while. I was on the influencer time frame, and now that I'm back off of it, it fucking sucks.
Well, I'm absolutely really fucking weird with time schedules and shit like that. Like, I feel so much more comfortable now than when I wake up at like 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, get kids off to school and everything else.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I forgot you got like fucking 19 kids, right?
Yeah, exactly. 97.
97. That makes sense.
I love how that came about. I think it's absolutely hilarious. They just didn't want to call me Bad Decision Zach, which is absolutely hilarious.
No, it's hot load Zach, 100%.
I can't wait. And I really haven't talked about this part, but I can't wait until they actually give me a time to actually talk about everything that's happened in my early teenage years. Having 2 kids before 18 is absolutely insane.
Jesus Christ. Okay, yeah. No, I didn't even know that part.
Yeah, no.
How old are you? If you talk about
it, I'm 28. No, I'm 29. Fuck, that's weird.
Shit. So you are 2 years older than me.
And you look so much fucking better than I do. It's scary.
No, I just look fucking older and haggard.
No, it's the kids, man. It's the kids. The kids are pushing that hairline back, and it's bad. But no, it's been a weird fucking time, man. I graduated high school with 1 kid, and then I guess we conceived my son within days of prom or me graduating. So within that month, we had a second one on the way.
God damn, dude.
Yeah.
Fuck. How many kids do you have now? 3? Three. Nice. Okay. Yeah. Was the third planned?
Yeah, the third one was planned.
Nice. Oh, fuck yeah. Okay. So you weren't like just like fuck these kids. You were like, all right, well, we could do a third.
No, it was one of the weirdest things. My first 2 kids, because of how young I was, I had the drive to accomplish and do the things for them, but like struggled to put all of the pieces together. My third has absolutely changed me as a person. Like figuratively, mentally, I put so much more time and effort into her. It's insane. And that could be because of how.
Oh, into her. Okay. So what were the first 2 boys?
No, I had one of each. I had my oldest is a daughter, my middle is a son, and then my youngest, literally, probably because of how bad my wife's health was, she went to the hospital and everything else like 2 or 3 times after the baby was born. So I had her a lot by myself. It was all on me. It wasn't shared time. It wasn't switching up effort. It was a lot on me. And then a whole bunch of other things.
Sorry to the listeners. I don't know the lore.
No, the lore is fine.
Like, is she like, she's okay now and everything like that?
Yeah, no. My daughter was also born preemie, so like that aspect of it kind of changed everything. Put a lot of like fire into who I was as a person, where before it was just I'm putting myself together, and then that kind of just was like the Kickstarter to absolutely putting everything into alignment, which was weird.
Yeah, there's something to that. Like, don't ask. Like, it's so fucking cliche and bullshit Cracker Barrel T-shirt, but like the whole like, don't ask for lighter loads, ask for stronger backs thing. There's really a thing to that.
It's honestly the truth. And I told my therapist that shit. I was like, in the grand scheme of things, so many people will sit here and tell me that I'm doing too much. I have too much stress on my plate. No, don't tell me I'm doing too much. Don't tell me I'm stressing too much. Let me do what I say I can do. And if I can't do it, I'm going to fail. But let me put as much on my back as I possibly can, because I overachieve when I'm overstressed. I overachieve when I'm dealing with everything else. Let me overachieve.
Especially when 3 of those things are fucking children. It's like, well, okay, well, if I should take loads off my back, which one do I kill? It's like, this is something I don't have a choice over.
Half of
I get
the world
to fucking
right
do that.
Half of the country just absolutely expects that and accepts that on a normal everyday basis. You know what? I look them all in the face. before I was 20 twice and said, you know what? I'm a better man than all of you.
Yeah. I mean, legitimately, it's like, well, especially after now that you have them, and then you have legitimate, like, several-year-old kids now. Like, God, your oldest kid's got to be like, what, 10?
12.
12. Fuck me. Oh, Jesus.
I have a 12-year-old, a 10-year-old, and a 3-year-old.
Son of a bitch. Well, good for you, man. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah. And they are it's so weird when my son becomes a mini me more and more each day.
Yeah.
So it's just like it's fun having that little person to just fuck with and kind of make the better version of you. Like I didn't have that aspect in my life, which is why I had so many kids so young, because I just wanted somebody who like loved and cared about me and knew that regardless of what happened, I had somebody's back, they had my back. We could just go on and do whatever we needed to.
Something about that like nuclear family unit that
because I never had that. Yeah, no, I never had it. So it was like having that backbone of having that familial relationship with somebody, and we could grow and just flourish into whatever happens. Having somebody that's literally I'll hear jokes that I would think of that just pop out of his mouth at 10 years old. And I'm like, where the fuck did you get that from? What the fuck are you talking about right now?
And you have to wonder, like, how much of that is learned behavior and how much of that is like, is that just because you're fucking half me?
No. I can't even tell this story, man.
Oh, no.
There's something that happened a couple weeks ago that scared me because he called it out and he's like, I'm going to do this. And then he does it. And I'm like, that was me. That was me, because like I completely watched myself do that. And I was like, yep, that was a me thing. Like he loves Call of Duty. He loves trying to dive into this content shit and wants to do it. And he's like, Dad, you're literally, not just because you're my dad, the things that you're doing is fucking weird. Most people do not get to the level that you're at with just talking and doing the things that you're doing. You trust yourself. A lot of people don't trust themselves. You're going to go somewhere at some point.
And
just
your
let it happen.
fucking 12-year-old is telling you this?
My 10-year-old.
10-year-old. Jesus.
Yeah, my 10-year-old. Well, at some
point, what kind of talks are you having with these kids? Holy shit, that's introspective as fuck.
At some point, you have to make them somewhat introspective, or they're going to be little shitheads.
Yeah.
You're not raising people that are just good people to you, because you want other people to be friends with them. You want other people to be intellectually interested in who they are as people, and intellectually interested in who they are going to be around you and stuff like that. So you want them to be able to play with the kid that nobody wants to hang out with. You want them to be able to play with the fucking most intelligent, intellectual kid in the room. And you want them to be able to hang out with the cool kid. You want them to be able to be a chameleon and hang out with everybody.
I was just going to say that, like a social chameleon.
Yeah.
Which I wasn't really the best at when I was younger. I'll be perfectly honest. Like, that's kind of a skill you develop later when you realize you kind of fucking need to.
It's weird. I kind of fell into that almost exactly, but didn't get accepted by everybody. Like I was able to talk to everybody, understand where they're coming from, have those conversations, but not able to pull myself and be accepted by everybody to the point where I accepted them. Right. Like I thought I had lots of friends, but you don't realize how many friends you genuinely have.
Yeah.
That might be the autism, that might be the ADHD, but only one of those is self-diagnosed.
A friend of mine, like, kind of said this to me years ago, and it kind of like, it didn't blow my mind, but it kind of like really put a lot of things into perspective. It's a saying that I've kind of adopted that is just, oh my God, like every fucking day gets truer and truer, which is smaller tables and higher fences. Like the older you get, smaller tables, higher fences. You stop wanting to be friends with everybody. You're just like, yeah, you know what? I've got my crew of people that I know are genuinely in it for me. I don't have to worry about their intentions. I don't have to worry about any of this shit.
And it seems like as you grow as a person, those people will be swapped out with people that are in your new circle, because you bringing everybody up to your level is much harder to do than finding genuine people at your level, because they're looking for genuine people at your level as well.
Yeah, 100%.
And it's the weirdest thing, because so many people are like, well, you left where you were. Yes, that's exactly what I was trying to do the entire time.
That was the goal. That was what we were all trying to fucking do. I'm sorry, you're still smoking pot and doing whatever the fuck you're doing. Like
like in the grand scheme of things, I could go be homeless and be a white trash piece of shit in Mike
Yeah,
Tyson's town. But I could also keep doing the same things that I'm doing now and growing every
yeah.
single day and doing better things. Which one would I rather do?
And like for the record, like I have friends, like a lot of friends who smoke pot and shit like that. Like it's like that, but you know what I mean? Like the people who like I high performing people can do shit like that, but it's also like the thing where like the high school dropout thing always like fucking bothered me, where people are like, well, you know, Bill Gates was a dropout. I'm like, yeah, but he dropped out to go start $1 billion business. You dropped out to do
Yeah.
drugs behind Waffle House. There's a
Yeah,
big
exactly.
difference.
Like, motherfucker, I graduated high school with a principal's honor roll, which is 95 or above, and a advanced regents diploma with college credit, and a kid. If you can't do all of those things, don't complain.
Yeah. Like that's fucking insane. And you're
There,
yeah.
there's zero reason why you can't do it. If I had everything stacked against me, told that I couldn't drive because my kid needed a fucking crib, then you absolutely could graduate high school, stop bitching and complaining.
And that blows my fucking mind, because I'm thinking, because we're similar in age, and I'm thinking like from my perspective, like, okay, let's just even say 10 years ago, right?
Yeah.
10 years ago, I had to take care of a fucking kid. I'm not sure I could fucking do it. Like I like now as an adult, like I'm 100% sure like I could do that now. Like I could
Yeah.
I could make that work and try to be the best dad that I can. But like 10 years ago, dude, I was a different fucking person. I was not mature. I was
Though
not.
the weirdest thing is it's not maturity, and most people might get completely jaded by saying that.
Yeah.
Is I had no guidebook. I had no dad. So I had absolutely no answer on how to do this at all.
And so
So I just
you didn't have a father figure in your life growing up.
so I had let's have some more
Again, not
lore.
getting personal or
No,
anything you're not
no,
comfortable with, rather.
no. I normally close out the show by telling a story about my life because it's absolutely fucked up and genuinely fucking insane. And this one was one I'm saving for PK, but you know, you're a special guest. I'll throw it
Oh,
in here.
well, I
Yeah.
appreciate you.
No, you were one of the first people that came out supporting me without even talking to me at that point. So I'll
Really?
throw it here. Fuck it. Yes. And honestly, Woody was my father figure. Yeah, that's funny and hilarious all at the
Are
same
we
time.
Are we live somewhere? Like, are we live on
Yeah,
Twitch? Oh shit.
we're live
Okay.
on Twitch. We're
I'll keep
live
up with chat.
everywhere. Yeah. Whatchamacallit? It's Twitch at Hotload Zach. So I have this in my stories as my life is a Pornhub category.
Oh god. That could mean so many fucking things.
Yes. So let's see what your guess is. And I'll tell the abridged version that's shorter, so that way I do still have content to throw at PK whenever they decide to bring me on.
My life is well, it's not ebony.
No. hey, you never know. It could be interracial. I could be half black.
Maybe it is. Maybe it is. I don't fucking know.
I made that joke half of my life. You never know.
I have no fucking clue.
So my mother and father are stepbrother and stepsister.
Oh, you're shitting me.
No, dead serious. Dead serious.
I know more people like that than you would think.
Yes.
It's not as rare as some people believe, oddly enough.
I'm not going to tell the meaning behind it and all of that shit. We'll save that for a long abridged version with Kyle shitting himself about how I'm an incest kid. But yes, I think that'll be hilarious, and I've already alluded to it in the chat, and he's made jokes about it already. So we'll leave the full version for there. But so he was in my life for probably the first week and then decided that he needed to go get married to some 4'2" bitch that had a big ass mole on her face. So my joke for the longest time was, you know, he went to go get a pack of cigarettes and lost his way because he was like a mountain guy who just went hunting and fishing and all of that shit. And then he came back around the time when I was 5 because my mom applied for social services and all of that shit. And then he was forced to kind of pay because, you know, that's what happens.
Right.
So within like months of having to be forced to pay, he ended up with weekend custody and no longer having to pay because he applied for disability. Yet somehow that disability didn't change anything he did. And he slowly just started forcing me to do only the things he enjoyed. And then he ended up abusing me and a countless other things. So I always used him as a green light towards this is what I don't want to be, not towards like trying to have a path or a presence of this is what I need to be.
And
My
and I think as like to a degree, I think a lot of that is what everybody has. Where like you remember, even if you have a relatively good childhood, I had my childhood was, believe me, fucking far from perfect. But like everybody, like you've always got corrective notes, I think is a good way of
yeah.
putting it. Like everybody kind of has that where they're like, this is the kind of dad I don't want to be. Like you just remember
Well,
that, even like from a young age, you burn that in
even
your
if
mind.
even if everything is perfect, if everything works, if everything is the way that it needed to be, that doesn't mean one to one as this is exactly how to do everything even tomorrow.
Yeah.
The parenting book changes. The parenting book changes daily. So as I looked at it, my stepdad was somebody who coddled my mom and kind of pushed her towards not really doing the right things. There was a lot of bullshit around that. So that kind of made things worse. So I always wanted to be the more dominant person within the relationship and stuff like that. And that kind of just once those things happened, then it correlated that that was the right way to go about things. And then, it just slowly became that as what I needed to be.
So can I ask, when you started identifying a lot of these things, like was that due to therapy, or was that due to like you like doing your own reading? Like you started reading some like just basic psychology stuff, philosophy, stuff like that. Did you start
So
identifying it there and then go to therapy, or like because you mentioned your therapist earlier?
no, I started therapy 2.5 years ago
Okay.
or so.
Because
During
a lot of things that you're saying are like very like targeted, like I've been to
no,
therapy
no,
kind of shit.
I'm really, really targeted in how I speak in these things because I don't want people to take what I'm saying incorrectly. Because a lot of what I've said or a lot of what I've dealt with is actually things that I've dealt with, done, felt, and did, or changed and fixed. I don't go through and say, well, this is what I do, this is what I feel, this is why I'm doing this. No, this is experience. This is how I've changed. This is why I do things. There's zero reason to go about things and just kind of speak on things as if life is a bubble and it's not going to be able to change and stuff like that. So I did do some psychological testing and stuff like that. I helped my mom learn a lot of psychology when she was in school for it and stuff like that, and then kind of was contemplating going that way as a whole myself because I thought it was a way to use my intelligence and kind of help people that were in the same aspect that I was. And
Right.
then it kind of turned into a shitty online podcast that hopefully reaches more people this year than it did last year.
That's always the goal, right?
It changes. Yeah, exactly. Goalpost always changes. And I think as a whole, if you just look at it as, oh, well, I'm helping people, then in the same vein, I'm doing the same thing. I just don't have a degree on the wall.
Yeah, no. Well, I guess my thought, my question behind that was like, was it like kind of like a chicken and egg thing? Like, did it start with therapy, or did it start with you just reading books or audiobooks or whatever the fuck and thinking like, oh, well, that's interesting. Like like listening to shit that like helped you dissect whatever it was you
Well,
experienced.
a lot of it was Mail Monday, PK, and kind of just working backwards from like that's why Ippo said that.
I laugh because I fucking relate to that.
Like I never was shown how to shave. I was like those stupid dumb things that a father should teach. I never had, so I kind of was just living life on autopilot and hoping that it worked properly. Like as cringe as that sounds, when he's my boss now, it's just what it is.
Legitimately, no, like I made this joke because you weren't around at the time, but the first time I was ever on PKA
I watched
was 2 years ago. I think something like that.
Something like that. Right before I came on, probably about like 6-7 months before I came on.
Yeah. Probably something like that. Because like I don't watch every show, but like I keep up with the show.
Yeah, exactly.
And I had made that joke before we had gone live because we were all just like chilling for like 5 minutes before the show.
Exactly.
And,
you got to get comfortable.
I was like, oh yeah, I'm like, oh Woody, you're the guy who taught me how to masturbate. Like there's some joke like that because it's like because I remember listening like when I was like 15, 16, like I was mowing grass for a job or whatever in the summer, and I would just like download Mail Monday or some shit, and I just put it
Yeah,
on my fucking
exactly.
phone as I'm like mowing grass and shit. Like that was just it was weird because I was watching fucking Woody's Gamer Tag Mail Monday videos and FPS Russia, and then fucking fast forward 10 years and I'm on the goddamn PKA podcast. It's like, and that's just like every day for me now, and it's so
No,
weird to do
exactly.
shit like that. It's bizarre.
And like I've been told I was cringy when I said that on the episode with Wings. I was like, dude, it's fucking weird. I watched you guys on a daily basis.
When you did that on the episode, what now? Sorry.
I had an episode with Wings, and I was like, yeah,
Oh,
man, I
really?
know
No
it's
shit.
really fucking. I know
I
it's gonna
didn't
be
know you
cringe when
did
I
that.
say this,
That's
but
fucking
this is
crazy. I didn't know that.
yeah. No, it's fucking weird just talking to the people that you not necessarily idolized, but looked up to, or even watched or enjoyed. Like I remember coming home and my wife would be like, "Yeah, Woody posted a new video from school," and we would hop on and sit there and watch the new Mail Monday, or we would watch part of PK while we were playing COD together, or we would watch the new FPS Russia video or the new Xbox Ahoy video, and just sit there and enjoy spending that time together. So it's really weird
It's
being in that
it's
circle
also it's
where
fucking mind blowing to me too that you're like 10 years ago for somebody like I relate to, like you're my age
yeah,
essentially.
no,
10
exactly.
years ago you have a wife. I'm like, oh god, that hurts my fucking head.
No, man. Like as a whole, because of my upbringing, that level of having a wife or having kids happened because I was, oh, this shit needs to move forward. I need people around me. So it's very, very easy to fall into that hole when you don't have that basis to begin with.
No, but I mean, I'm not even saying it's necessarily unhealthy because it sounds like it's a really good support structure and everything for you.
It
Like, that
was.
sounds
It
like
was.
yeah, kind of a. Is it still the same wife that you're currently with?
Currently, it is very, very more complicated and convoluted than I
Okay,
speak
I
about.
don't mean to
Yeah.
pry. Yeah, no,
No,
it's all good if you don't.
I normally am very, very open about things, but
Yeah.
the way things have gone for the past 3 years, it's fucking confusing and convoluted.
No need to explain. I was just out of pure curiosity. But no, it is
But yeah,
fucking crazy though.
almost 15 years, as weird as that is.
That is fucking mind blowing to me. That's crazy, man. But good for you, dude. Because like not a lot of people have the fucking fortitude to actually go through with it and do that. Like you put your fucking money where your mouth is as a man. Like I have a lot of respect for that.
Yeah, well, I couldn't sit there and openly talk shit about my dad and say, well, you ran away to go get a pack of cigarettes and then go and do the same thing.
Yeah.
How as any guy, how can you do that? Whether it's to your kid, your stepkids, or kids that you have in the future, how can you do that to any of your kids? If you do it, you're shitty.
Yeah.
It just is what it is. Whether that's calling somebody out or not calling somebody out, if you run, you're just running from bullshit.
Yeah, because even like I'm thinking like back to like pregnancy scares in high school or whatever. Like if you weren't man enough to step up, like who the fuck are you really?
Like and we'll go into more of your shit, so it's not just a Zach centric podcast. I feel like
I'm more. I talk about my shit all the time. I'm fucking interested. I'm genuinely just kind of exploring this. I don't know.
No,
it's cool with you.
Feel free. I don't want to be a douchebag. I invite you on,
not.
and then it's like Zach stuff, and I'm like, fuck, I feel like an asshole. But I remember this one time. It was right after we found out we were pregnant with my first, and she left the doctors with her mom, and then she came to my house. We lived probably about an hour and a half, an hour and 45 minutes apart. I'm gonna have to grab them. I guess they're barking at the bear. Whatchamacallit. And I walked up to we had a bar in the kitchen, and my mom was sitting on one side of it. Her mom was sitting on one side of it, and me and my girlfriend at the time, my wife, had a conversation. We're like, hey, we're gonna keep it. We had that conversation ourselves, because honestly, I was not going to have you guys impact this decision. This is my decision. This is her decision, not yours. I don't care if we're 16 or if we're not. It's just, it is what it is. We're not going to have this conversation with you. This is my conversation to have, not yours. And
I mean, that's a mature fucking statement to even make then.
I walked up to the counter and said, well, I'm stepping up. This is my decision, not yours. We're doing this. And I got told, well, of course you were going to step up. No, that's not your decision to make. Like, I don't think you understand how on purpose this was, number one. Number two, you're talking from a position of weakness because you're abusive. Like, fuck you, fuck the house that you live in. Like, I don't fucking care. There's a reason why somebody wanted out of your house and looked at this as a situation as an answer out. So shut up, stop. I'm telling you shit's going to happen. Breathe.
Yeah.
It's so surreal to watch that shit happen and have that conversation at fucking 16. I remember her dad looking at me and being like, "Yeah, I'm so mad at you right now. I could drag you behind my Jeep 2000 Jeep Grand Cherokee by your nuts." And now as a dad looking back at that situation, I'm like, that's not how you should look at the situation. That's not like, you should be looking at that situation and trying to defend the situation. You should try and be that buffer from like the real world, not trying to insult the situation and affect it negatively.
Look, kind of like, yes, this isn't fucking great, but how are we going to deal with this together?
Exactly. Like I understand you're frustrated. And I put myself out of the situation and look at it as a third person or third perspective of like, how would I handle this situation? And it's not, oh, well, I'm going to flip shit. I'm going to loot. Yeah, I'm going to be mad. I'm going to be mad that you made a shitty fucking decision. But guess what? It's not my decision to make from here.
Dealing with it that way is fucking selfish.
Yeah. Let me grab them real quick.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, if it's cool, I'm going to grab another drink real quick while you're gone.
Yeah. Be right back, boys.
Yeah, same.
Thank you. Yeah. It's okay. You guys can see my sweat stains. It'll be great. I figured that was an acceptable thing to do. I just didn't want the fucking barking behind the screen. But yeah, like as a whole, that shit's fucking hell. I don't get it. I don't fucking get it at all. But I guess I could be wrong. But I don't know if Brandon can hear me. I don't know. I'm probably gonna have to repeat myself. So, how's everybody else doing, boys? God, that RPG 7 looks so fucking cool. Yeah, it really fucking does. But if I remember correctly, he said it's essentially a baseball bat and it won't shoot. So that P90 though, I would love to shoot that thing. That thing looks like a fucking blast. Zach, please do the Lord's work for me. Brother, you are obnoxious as hell. I love you to death, though, so it's okay. I wanted to check Twitch, which is what I was doing. I don't like this fucking one because it doesn't tell me how many fucking viewers I have. AIDS ass bullshit. I don't like Streamlabs OBS and this fucking cancer. But adulting and doing the right thing and swapping to the correct one. Yeah, I thought you took off your headphones. I was like, I don't think he can hear me, so I'm not gonna continue our conversation with what I was saying. No, you're fine. But yeah, like I thought of it in that way of like, you can't just sit there and spout off with anger because you're mad at a decision that was made that's not your decision.
Right. Or not even like a decision, but like a lapse of judgment even, or something like that, where it's like, this is something that just fucking happened because, hey, we've been biologically programmed to do this one fucking thing forever.
And like, I don't know if you've ever felt this, and you can feel free to kind of chime in. When I met her, it felt like it was supposed to happen. And like, I'm not one of those spiritual people. I'm not religious in any way, which is why me and Wendigoon had the conversation last week that we had. asking about religion, trying to understand it, because fucking hell, who the fuck knows? But it is so fucking.
Isaiah, real quick, splinter to that. Isaiah is one of my favorite fucking people.
Oh, I love Isaiah. I love him to death.
He's such a good dude, man.
Yeah, he is.
Anytime I get the chance to hang out with him,
that's why I talked about 2 specific weeks with you. Like, if you pay attention, I was trying to get the twins back to back.
Oh, goddamn. No, I didn't fucking notice. Sorry.
Yep. No, it's okay. I just do things because I get a giggle out of them, which is why I do them.
Anyway, sorry.
No, you're fine. Like that weird connection that we have, like at 2 months, at 15 years old, I was like, I need to propose because there's something different about this. I don't get it. I can't explain it. Maybe it's the mental illness, but like, or the retardation. I don't know. But like, that was the most surreal feeling as a whole to look at a situation, was this needs to happen. And then as things progressed, it just got more and more certain that that was the answer. And it's surreal and kind of weird to look at the entire situation and just, I don't know. As those things happen, you kind of can't just step in the way of them. You kind of just got to accept them, especially if they're not your decisions and choices to make.
Right.
And it seems like a lot of parents back in the day, at least, tried to get in every single fucking answer of those situations as a whole.
Yeah, it's definitely like, I think it's probably really healthy that you guys had that conversation first, for sure. Cause like, then no matter what happened after that, you guys could say with a straight face, like, yes, we decided this before we had any fucking parental input. Like, this is something that we as more or less adults decided.
As a whole, at 16-year-olds, you have your own morality in that situation. Regardless of if it's correct morality or incorrect morality, you're going to have your own opinion, your own feelings and stuff like that. You are starting your life. That person, if they dropped out of school, is considered an adult.
Yeah. And I remember, like, dude, I had pregnancy scares at that age. And like, I remember my thought process. I remember seeing, goddamn, I remember not remembering the second Thor movie because I thought I had just knocked a chick up. Like, and I was just like sitting there through the whole theater the whole time, like, man, with that weighing over my head. Like, I remember this stuff. Like you're a fully formed fucking person with your own decisions and your own, like that's, you have your own
mentality
fucking,
already.
Yeah, 100%. And it's not that wildly different than you as an adult.
No, and it's so surreal that so many people want to shit on that situation. Yes, are you financially able? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Are you mentally able? Absolutely. And you want to know the crazy thing? The crazy thing that I probably, if I ever did blow up, I would get shit on for saying, you are more physically capable at 16 to 18 to take care of your kid than any of those 40-year-olds that are having kids at 40, 45 years old.
Now, that's fucking interesting. I'm curious to hear your thought. Like, explain that a little bit. And I'm sorry to like fucking interview you on your own podcast.
You're fine. I don't give a fuck. This is the thing, is like, I would rather have an introspective conversation with anybody, regardless of the topic or anything, than just some bullshit conversation about shit that neither one of us care about or any, you know what I'm saying? Like, who the fuck cares? But, like, I think of myself right now at 29 years old. I've had neck surgery. I can't really use my right arm as much as you or a normal person that hasn't had surgery on their neck and shoulder. At 40 years old, how much healthier am I going to be? Right now, I am probably the healthiest I've ever been. And I know I'm probably going to go down because of my illness, my injury, those things. So as a whole, I've torn my meniscus. I've had neck surgery. Like, I'm going to be in a worse place at 40 than I am right now when I'm 30. You know what I'm saying? And I'm in a better place at 20 than I was at 30. Like, it's just, you're going to progress through life. You're going to have more injuries. You're going to have more illnesses. You're going to be in a weaker spot at 40. Yes, you could be monetarily in a better place, but physically, you're going to be at your peak in between 20 and 30. It's just,
with you saying, like, you literally are like physically in a better spot at 18.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I could see that. I was curious to explore your mindset on that.
No, and that's why I said it that way. It was like, physically, you probably are. Mentally, maybe not. You probably aren't. Monetarily, you're definitely not unless you're from a very, very rich family. But
Yeah.
as a whole,
Yeah,
those
for
those
sure.
situations are never going to line up the way that you exactly want them to. They're just shit happens, let it fucking happen. Because
Even still,
if
yeah,
you sit there and perfect everything, you're not going to be ready for anything.
even today, I'm like, man, like financially, no, I'm great. Like I'm not hurting
Exactly.
for anything. But I think about like if you add a kid to that equation, I'm like, oh man, fuck. Like I don't I want to give that kid fucking everything. But it's like, oh god, that would fucking it's gonna put a hurt on my
But
lifestyle and a lot of things.
that everything could be $100,000 over 10 years, or that could be $10,000 over 10 years, depending on how much money, effort, and time you put into that kid.
Yeah, no, and that's fair. Like
And
yeah, to
that's
a degree, yeah.
it's just a really, really weird way to see it when some people want to put that, oh, $250,000 a year for one kid. No, that's not anywhere accurate at all.
That like not only like is it not accurate from just a
Not
philosophical
logical.
perspective, it doesn't make any fucking sense where it's like, all right, well, the average American has 2.25 kids, and the average
Yep.
American makes $55,000 a year. So like that's not fucking possible. Like that's just
What are you buying your
objectively.
fucking 4-year-old an iPad? Like,
Are you buying them 100 iPads a year? Like that's not.
yeah,
It's just not fucking. It doesn't. It's not a thing.
it's almost like they're trying to count the entire monetary value of the entire household every time plus 2 vehicles on that one kid. And I'm sorry, that's just not how you do that at all.
No, it doesn't make. And of course, I'm like stolen valor in this conversation. I don't have a fucking kid, but at the same time, like I can do basic fucking math, right?
No, but like as a whole, you've had those thoughts, you've had those, oh, would I enjoy this? How would it affect? You have those thoughts. You are introspective enough to understand what impact that decision would have on your life for this amount of time or that amount of time or life.
Right.
Like any guy should have those conversations, thoughts, and feelings as a whole.
Yeah. Especially a dude that's coming in women. That's a pretty good fucking introspective conversation to have.
Yeah. Or you last 7 hours and you don't come at all. It's one of those weird ass situations that shit just happens, man.
Yeah. Either way, you should definitely be fucking. As a dude, like these are just thoughts that you have, right?
No, honestly, they genuinely should be. If you're actually having relationships, if you're having those connections with people, regardless of if it's 1, 10, 15, or you have a new one every single day, it doesn't matter. You should understand who you are as a person and what that decision is going to give you as an outlook on life. That decision could change your entire life. It does not
It
matter if it's
will.
one choice or 50 choices.
Yeah, no, like once it fucking happens, it will. It
Yep.
100% will. Like that's just a fucking thing that happens.
Yeah, exactly. Don't put
Something that,
yourself in a situation that you don't know what the outcome is going to be. Don't be a dickhead.
yeah, and it blows my mind because my dad was my age when he had a kid, his first kid,
Yeah.
which was me. So like, yeah, like oh fuck, my dad was my age with me. Like that blows my mind now. It's like oh damn. All right, well, it's something that I heard. Maybe it was Vsauce that put it this way, where like he talked about like I forget what he was getting at with it, but he goes through this whole progression, like learning from your parents and like learning like your parents' background, you're this, you're that, whatever. And he had this one line about like how adulthood is realizing your parents are you.
Yep.
And it's like, oh fuck, where you no longer have this like god like, oh well, my parents are this, authority figure or this or whatever. It's like, no. Adulthood is when you realize your parents are just you. Like when you get to your age and you're just like, oh fuck me.
It's looking at it and understanding the mentality you have is a combination of the two that were before you. Did you make different decisions? Yes or no? And you could be in the same exact place that your parents were, just making very, very different decisions. It's saying no when you should have said yes, or when you should have said yes and you should have said no.
It's like your parents were playing Witcher 3 just like you were, but they just made different dialogue choices. Like
Yep.
it's that's
Exactly.
that's what it comes down to.
It's one of the weirdest things in the world. I asked this question on a different episode. I said, wouldn't it be weird if you found out that your parents had the same kinks you did?
What a fucking Uncomfortable thought. Where did that come from?
No, it was one of the most ADHD thoughts I've ever had in my life. But think of how salient that actually is. Because
Yeah.
if you are just a makeup of your decisions and the mentality of your parents, you
Oh,
probably
I
are very,
hate
very
that.
similar to one of them.
No, okay, so that like I don't hate that thought as much as I hate this next follow-up. Which one is it?
Yeah, exactly.
That's I'm like, oh no, all of
Oh,
a sudden that gets real personal. I don't
it's just
fucking
like,
like
oh
any of
fuck,
that.
which one is it? No, it makes you wonder which shade of fucked up you are. It's like, am I the one I hate or am I the one I resent? Which one am I? Because I'm really, really fucking confused.
God, that's a fucking hilarious train of thought, though. Fucking hell, what did Wendigoon say to that?
Oh, I don't even think that wasn't a Wendigoon episode. I don't know.
I was
I
really
don't
hoping
know.
it was.
No, that was an episode I believe we had Verlisify on. He's a Pokemon YouTuber who's also a furry.
Oh, God. Uh, no, I think I see him comment every now and again.
No, he's honestly one of the coolest fucking dudes around.
No shit.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with any of his content or anything like that. I just know he's around.
He's a very, very outspoken kind of dude where he's just like, I'm going to flip you the bird and not really give a fuck how you feel about it. So, like, he's hated in the Pokemon community because he's like, you motherfuckers cheat. Why the fuck do we accept this at all in any circumstance? And they're like, well, you're a piece of shit for exposing it. It's like, what the fuck kind of correlate? It doesn't matter how he talks to people. He's telling you that these people are doing wrong things and you're seeing it negatively. Like, I don't understand. But one of the most interesting conversations you can have, actually. He's really fucking interesting. But yeah, like I asked him, I was like, yeah, man. So where do you think being a furry becomes a fetish?
All right.
I was like, because personally for me, it's once you decide to insert a tail inside of you. That's step one. Everything after that, you have a furry kink.
To
He's
me,
like,
it's just like whenever you sexualize an animal. That seems to be where that starts. Like,
yeah,
even
exactly.
like Jesus says, once you sin in your heart, you have sinned in reality. It's like,
and he's like, in the grand scheme of things, man, I don't fight. Mine's not a kink. I like the art. It's and I asked him last time that he was on. It was about like 2 weeks ago. I was like, for you, is it more like the Native American thing where they're like they symbolize themselves as an animal, like they see that as part of their soul, part of their being, and that stuff. Not necessarily, oh, I sexually agree with this thing. And he's like, that is the most logical way that I've heard it explained. It's like I just like the art, the aspect of it.
And I can get that. Like that I understand that to a degree, right? The only thing that like it's like that next layer on top of that, right? It's like, all right, of the people who feel that way, what percentage of them want to fuck it? And it's like 90%. Like you go that extra step. It's like, well, all right, maybe there's the 10% that aren't fucking weird, but like the next 10%,
exactly,
like 90% of them, they want to fucking have sex with animals, and it's like, I really don't love that.
Yeah, I don't understand. I don't get it, but like, hey, at least you can articulate it properly, so that way I don't feel all skeeved out. But like if you were that way, I would feel slightly uncomfortable. It's weird to me. And I like questioning people that have weird opinions and weird occurrences and kind of breaking that down and kind of trying to understand what they're coming from, which is why I'm able to articulate myself so properly, because if I didn't, trying to question people on why the fuck they're weird, but I'm not weird, and not being able to explain myself is a weird place to be.
Yeah. Oh, trust me, I relate.
So we can touch on one of these topics at least.
I can tell you one.
Yeah.
The Jake Paul versus Nate Diaz fight.
Yeah.
I'll be there actually.
You will.
I'm going to be I'll be at that event.
Awesome.
So sorry, I know you wrote these down here on the side, but
no, I did. So who do you think's going to win?
I personally hope Nate pulls it off, obviously, but I don't know, man. I don't think Jake hasn't lost one like since he started, has he?
He lost that decision to Fury.
Okay. He's got a rematch already, right?
Yes, I believe so. I don't necessarily know. I don't keep up with it that heavily. Every single fight that I've had a friend in or an acquaintance in, all of you guys have won, which is really, really interesting,
Oh,
actually.
so I was included. Okay.
Yes, I include you.
Okay.
So Harley, I called his second fight. Wings, I called his fight. And Brandon Buckingham, I called his fight. All of you guys won.
So honestly,
And then Harley lost his second, but I didn't think he was going to win that. No matter
no,
how much I love you, buddy.
I didn't think he was going to either.
I thought John Morrison was 100% going to school, and he did.
Although I will say Harley, like, oh my God, like
the heart on that dude. I was talking to him earlier. I love him to fucking death. He has a heart of a fucking champion. Regardless.
What a great fucking human.
Yep.
Like I actually talked to him a lot. Like, so before my fight, he had reached out. He's like, bro, you're doing a fucking boxing match. Like, this is so fucking cool. And like, we talked a little bit on Instagram, and I asked him, like, bro, like, you've done 2 of these now. Like, do you have any advice? And he sent me like fucking the Encyclopedia Britannica. Like, he wrote a long ass, like, fucking 4 paragraphs or whatever. And like, really what it came down to is he's like, don't leave a goddamn fucking thing in the ring, because you will hate yourself for it forever.
Yep.
And like, those were words like that. Like, it struck me to a core. Like, I reread the message like 4 fucking times. Like, god damn. Okay.
And those words, we're 110% genuine. Otherwise, he wouldn't have sent them. He is one of the most genuine and forward-facing people I've ever met, and I 100%. Fucking love that shit.
He's a good dude. You can say all day long, and I don't fault you for it. Like, whatever.
Yeah.
You can say all day long, like, you don't agree with Harley and you think he's a piece of shit. I'm like, okay, whatever, that's fine. But if you think
you can disagree with him,
yeah,
but don't think he's fucking disingenuous, because he's not.
Yeah, no, he's a very genuine person. Like, every time like we've hung out with him in person, like, he's just been like, he's just 100% him all the time, and I really like that.
I told him, I was like, dude, even if it's just a content day, if that's what you want to do, come hang out with me. Let's go down to Mike Tyson's gym.
So where are you at? You mentioned something about Mike Tyson's hometown, because like I've just now started to get into like the Church of Tyson, because of obviously I've had to like learn that.
I don't know if it's his hometown or if he just rebased himself here. I know he owned a place here. He had tigers here. He used to live literally 5 minutes down the road from me. He's been not where I currently live, but my actual hometown. It's Catskill, New York. It's it's Gus D'Amato's gym. It's literally in one of the shittiest parts of town. And that's literally, I grew up in that town, and it's a shithole, but it's my shithole.
Right. Yeah. No, trust me. Like, I grew up.
I told him, I was like, let's just go down there. Content wise, how cool would that be? That would be sick as fuck. We'll go get a slice of pizza. We'll go hang out at Mike Tyson's gym. Literally, they're right around the block from each other. Let's go. Let's just do it. And it'll be a blast.
I grew up in Fayetteville, North Carolina, so Fort Bragg. So like, I know all about what it's like growing up in shitholes. Like, my
funny thing is, I was looking at buying a house there literally like 4 years ago.
In Fayetteville?
It was just North Carolina. It was a cheap location that had everything I was kind of looking for. Had no idea Fort Bragg was there. I just wasn't.
I can tell you why Fayetteville's fucking cheap. Huh?
But it was, I can buy a house. I can provide that stability.
Yeah.
A good start. I don't give a fuck. Why not?
I took my girlfriend at the time to Fayetteville, and like, just I was visiting family or whatever, and I was pointing out landmarks around town by like gas stations that I had pointed guns at people at. Like, it's not a good place, man. Like, I pointed guns at people 3 times in 3 different places before I turned 18. Like, it's just a fucking shithole, dude.
Out of the counties in New York, my county places 5th in violent crime.
So you know what I'm talking about then. It's like, it's just not a great place.
It doesn't make any sense genuinely, because this county has Mike Tyson as a figure for it. But there's 5 boroughs of New York City. Though? No, there's 5 boroughs of New York City, and I'm 150 miles out of it.
Right.
Why? Not the capital, not Albany. not Poughkeepsie, not Rochester, not fucking Buffalo. As of 2 years ago, we were the 5th county in violent crime.
But doesn't Mike Tyson make up for doesn't he make up like 20% of those crimes?
It's weird. He comes back to the Section 8 housing and hangs out.
Are you fucking kidding?
No, dead serious. Like there's legitimate pictures of him just sitting there hanging out in town, just doing nothing, just paying a visit to everybody, hanging out. Like that is the most genuine fucking thing that I could honestly like. That would be something I would do. Just go back to the old stomping grounds and just make sure everybody's okay.
What's crazy though is that he's like as much as like a garbage human as he might be, and like I don't know
who
right?
fucking
like,
knows.
He's
That's
like
genuine.
convicted rapist.
Yeah, exactly.
Assault. Like, not really a great guy though. But like everything he does seems very real, very genuine, and like and on top of that, fucking amazing boxer. Like I knew he was a good boxer because he's fucking Mike Tyson. But then getting into boxing and like training boxing and like after you do this for like 2 months now, like I've done, you look at Mike Tyson's boxing videos and you're like, oh my fucking God, this man is an animal. Like it's not just, he's not just good. He's a fucking superhuman. Like he's amazing.
No, it's really weird to kind of see the difference in the way people do things and stuff like that. And he's been a really, really odd, like I struggle to listen to him. And that's me being 110% genuine. His voice just, it strikes a nerve, but like hearing the things that he's done since he's gotten out of boxing and stuff like that, just paying back to communities, trying to bring people up and say, hey, put your face down and do this shit. Don't just sit there and talk shit about it. And those things are the more genuine versions of him. I think he got in a very, very negative place and kind of just kept acting out on things. But that's just.
Yeah. I feel like this is a weird take, maybe, but like I feel like humble Tyson is a scarier Tyson.
Well, you heard what he said about prison, right?
Yeah.
It's the greatest time of his life. It's the biggest piece that he's ever had.
Well, because right afterward, he got out. Like his first fight after prison was like it was a knockout in 48 seconds. Like he was just like fucking mean. He was aggressive.
Well, I heard the there was a clip that popped up, I believe, on my Facebook feed, probably 2 or 3 days ago, of Customato talking about him. He's like, yeah, Mike's the reason why I'm not dead right now. And most people might not understand that, but it was the reason why he kept going. He's like, yeah, he sits at my table. He's my son. He's the reason why I'm still able to keep going and keep having energy in life. Was just fixing him as a human. It makes you wonder if it was just he is a shitty person or he made shitty decisions. And I don't know. I'm not going to speak for him, but I wonder, because I think there's a lot of those situations where shitty people make shitty decisions and it makes them look worse when they could be around different people and all of a sudden things are a hell of a lot better.
Yeah, it's fucking wild, man. But like it like listening to his interviews though, like listening to him talk about now, like almost like remorseful of the way he talks about himself. Like in the early days, he's like, I used to think of things like this, like that. He's like, man, that person is still within me. I have to bury that person, like shit like that. Like to me, that is admirable that he's at least trying to turn a new leaf. But like the other thing is like, that's fucking scarier, dude. Like the fact that person's still there.
The amazing thing is when he says the same exact things Jordan Peterson does. And he's like, you have to be a monster. You have to accept that needs to be a part of you so that way people respect you.
I knew where you were going with that immediately.
You have to fucking be able to control it. Yep. You have to show people, but you have to control it. They sit here and negatively speak on one and accept the other. And it really thoroughly fucking confuses me when all of these people are just accepted and disagreed with on the same fucking sentence and they say the same fucking thing. It makes no fucking sense.
And it blows my mind because like I consider myself one of the biggest living examples of that. Because it's like you talk about school shootings and access to guns and all sorts of shit. And I'm like, bro, like I have the capacity to do all sorts of shit. Because like I just by nature, like we have over 1,000 guns on the FFL. I've got hundreds of thousands of rounds of ammunition, like all this shit, like belt feds. Fucking, we're doing a video tomorrow with an M60, like just fucking like running like belts out of this goddamn thing. We're not hurting anybody. Like you just like we have this
Why would
capacity
you?
to do shit. Like because it's like it's all about who you are as a person. And and you need people that have the capacity to do this, because there's going to be other people that also do that don't have the best intentions. Like you need people who know how to do this sort of thing. Like you want to be the monster. It's the same thing. It's like I love what Peterson said about like an axe murderer without an axe is not a good person.
Yep.
It's just an axe murderer without an axe. Like you want people who know it's the meek shall inherit the earth, but the actual inheritance, the actual translation was something along the lines of like those who keep those who have swords but choose to keep them sheathed shall inherit the earth. Like I fucking love that.
I remember looking at a situation very, very similar to this. I was 16. My wife was pregnant, and she started arguing with her autistic brother.
Older or younger?
He's older than her by like 8 months, a year, something like that. They're separated very, very close. But I got chastised for putting myself in between them. They're like, he's autistic. He would fuck you up. And I looked at my mother-in-law and said, do you really think that I'm going to take a swing or not take a swing for a pregnant woman? Number one, you're telling me something absolutely horrendous, that I shouldn't have stepped in between a pregnant woman and an autistic man arguing. Regardless of the situation, that is the most commendable situation in the situation. Why are you telling me I'm wrong? Because you separate that decision and you handle it. You don't fucking just let it be. That's fucking retarded. Number two,
and I feel like that part's kind of a man thing.
Don't tell me I'm fucking wrong.
No, I'm not telling you. I'm not telling you wrong at all.
Her. Like, she's like, don't fucking do that. I was like, no,
well, that's a mom. I'm
gonna fucking do that.
That's 100% a fucking mom thing, because like they're always gonna tell you fighting's wrong.
No, because he was gonna hit her.
Yeah, but they're always gonna be like, oh, honey, you're gonna get hurt, like that sort of thing. Like, I'm not saying it's right, because I
would never accept my son to hit my daughter, let alone when she's pregnant. That is unacceptable. Boyfriend should step in 100% of the time if I'm not there. 100%. You're doing
on the same page. Yeah.
And I looked at her and said, you're afraid of my safety. I grew up in a location where I won't stop until I'm dead. That is more scary than retard rage. I promise you. And she's
I agree with you. I agree with you, but that's a fucking mom thing, dude. Like they're always like, oh no, you shouldn't do that because you could get hurt.
Not only is there that vengeance within me, I'm also then protecting my kid.
Yeah.
100%. Like, do you not understand that I would fucking kill that dude? Like, I wouldn't give a fuck. But you know what? I controlled the situation. I separated the fucking situation. He ran off like a little bitch and stomped into his room. But he beat the shit out of her almost on a daily basis. Did I do the wrong thing? Abso-fucking-lutely not. Maybe you should have a little bit more control over your household so that way I don't have to. I shouldn't be coming in your household at 15 and 16 and demanding and dictating situations.
You shouldn't have to be in that situation. Like, period.
No, exactly. Like, there's zero fucking reason.
But that's full on a mom thing. Like the whole like no violence, no this. Like you don't have to hit him. Like you don't have to get hurt. Like it's it drives me fucking crazy because like I get it. Like the maternal instinct to like everybody just get along. Like at a certain point, like as a dude, like sometimes people just have to get fucking hit, man. Like that is just the way it goes. Like sometimes like you have to alpha another person for the favorable. Like if you want the good ending, that's what has to happen. Like that's the best way I could put it.
If you are that person and you're genuinely not somebody that just sits back and accepts things, at the points where there's viability to put people in their place, you probably should. And if you
Yeah.
don't, then you're going to be walked over. And that's where the problem is.
I know a lot of very good men. I put myself in the position, like I surround myself with people that I would as a person consider very good men.
Yeah, you have
And
to.
every one of them is capable of obscene amounts of violence, and they're good at it. And I don't think that's an accident. Like the people that are just completely incapable of violence, like I don't respect them. Like it's just not. It's like you're not a moral person. You're just a fucking pussy.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like people want to accept this whole, oh, I don't fight, I don't do anything. Like I remember the school calling about my son last year. And he fucking hit another kid that pushed him. Kid had they're like, oh, well, this reason, and this reason. It's unacceptable. It's bullying. I said the kid pushed him first, right? They said, yep. And my son turned around and punched him in the mouth. Yep. Okay, so what are you saying is wrong here? Where? Because the kid has a disability, he gets to be a douchebag? He can't see out of one eye. Are we going to let everybody just be an asshole?
That was the disability?
Yes. Like he's in normal classes. He's a normal kid. Let him be a fucking normal kid. If he's going to be a douchebag, he's going to get hit, regardless of the age of the kid.
That's good. All right, maybe fucked up opinion. That's good for him. Like if he's going to be a fucking asshole, yeah, you should get hit for being an asshole. Like this is when you learn that stuff.
It might be a douchebag take, but as a whole, if you teach your kid that, oh, I have a disability, therefore I can say and do, that kid's a douchebag. They just are.
You can't be you just can't be a dickhead for no reason. Like that's, or well, even if that's your reason, it's not a fucking real reason.
No, that's my point. Is like that's not a reason to be a douchebag in any form or fashion. Like it's unacceptable. It's unfucking acceptable just because people want to mouth off and do things that they accept that they can do. It's like, no, that's not how things are. That's not the way the world works. That's not how life is.
Yeah, it drives me fucking crazy. Like especially when people make excuses for other people. It's like, dude, like if you want to belittle somebody else on an intellectual level, make excuses for them.
Yeah.
Like you know, like other people don't need excuses to be made for them. Like just hold them to the same standard as everybody else.
Exactly. That's how it always should be. You should be held to the same standard I am. I should be held to the same standard you are, and all the way across the board. It does not matter what level you have to bring yourself to. We should all fight to the same level, not fight at different levels to begin with. That's fucking idiocy. Unless you're
100%.
completely incapable and then understand where you're at. That is exactly what it is. Like it's such a baseline, borderline piece of shit kind of action to just expect less of somebody because of something that they are or aren't. It's insane to me.
Yeah, and on a different level, it's almost like it's one of my favorite like kind of theories to talk about in this regard, in like in a modern political environment. It's like the racism of lowered expectations, where it's like the left will go on and on about like how, you know, oh well, the right is trying to suppress the vote by saying, or by like, you know, saying you need an ID to vote. It's like, oh yeah, because the ethnic communities can't figure out how to get a federal ID. It's like, are you fucking crazy? Like you're literally saying like black people and Mexicans can't get fucking voter, like they can't get driver's licenses. That's the entire like crux of the argument. Like you
make it so you pay $10 when you register, or combine the driver's ID and voter registration ID.
Yeah,
it's not complicated. Like,
which it's basically it's like that in most states too. Like like in North Carolina when I got my driver's license,
in New York,
like,
it's not. So that's where I'm talking from. New York, you have a piece of paperwork that you file at your local municipality, and then your ID is through the Department of Motor Vehicle. It's completely separate.
In North Carolina, when I got my driver's license, like literally when I turned 16, I I got my driver's license, and they asked me like if I wanted to register to vote. Like I literally did it right there in the same day on the same piece of paper.
Yeah, it's on the same piece of paper, but it's just completely a separate thing.
Yeah, and it was $0. Like it was.
That's my point. Is like making it so it's combined with a driver's license or non-driver's ID would be the absolute answer. You have to do this when you're 18, 16,
Yeah.
whatever. And that's what you do. Just make it like civil service, make it like everything else, make it a mandatory thing. So that way everybody has to do it. Oh, you're not valid in that way? Okay, then the answer is you don't vote. You go to jail, you do not pass go, you do not collect $200. Make
to me,
voting
like,
mandatory if that's the answer. I don't fucking care.
because to me, like the harm of letting people who are not legal to vote is way bigger of a deal than the 1 in a million fucking odd job that you're talking about that isn't able to figure out how to vote like that.
Exactly. I would rather let retards vote than allow people to vote that aren't really people.
Yeah, 100%. Like yeah,
and many people
oh, they're suppressing the vote. It's like, no, these people are literally it's a crime for them to vote. Like they're not legally able.
And many people might take that as a negative or racist thing to say. No, I'm saying as in the United States Constitution, if you are not a citizen, you cannot vote.
Yeah.
So if you cannot vote and you are not a citizen, technically you are an alien to the United States, which means you are not a United States citizen. You are not a human to the government. That is their terminology, not mine.
And that is a fact. Like that is just like straight up like that is a fucking fact. Like they if you are not a citizen of the United States, you cannot vote. Like it's a fucking thing. And you shouldn't be able to.
You can write your name down on a piece of paper and all of a sudden it's accepted now.
And it's funny because it's like doing that is a crime, but also
it's pushed.
Yeah, like
no sense.
It's never enforced. It's never fucking enforced.
So I wanted to play a fun game. I know you said you wanted to leave possibly at 1:30. It leaves you time to kind of figure out if you want to go, if you want to stay, whatever you want to do.
Actually, can I grab one drink and then I will be right back?
Yeah, go grab your drinky poo.
Okay,
it's
cool.
Fine. I will
drink. Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, no, you're fine. You're fine. That's why I got 2 Gfuel cups.
Oh, thank God you got that.
I got a fucking Spider-Man Gfuel cup. This shit is sick as fuck.
I'm having a great conversation, but I'll be right back, and then we can finish this up.
You're good, man. You're good. Go ahead. So make sure to go check out Gfuel. They're the sponsor of the podcast. Go check them out and use code RMTS at checkout for 20% off. I believe right at this second they are doing a buy one get one free sale if that's still going on. Who the fuck knows? But I know that shit changes on the daily, and some of you guys are going to be watching this as a bot anyway. So make sure to check that out. Come hang out and have some fun. But check Gfuel out. So I wanted to do this thing, and we're going to call it factor crap, factor shit, whatever the hell we decide to fully call it. I went through and got some history facts that we either learned in school or are like common knowledge. And some of them are fake, some of them are real, and we are going to quiz Brandon on what he thinks is real or not. If I could spell correctly, that would be fantastic. I'm glad I know what the fuck I'm doing. Oh, yeah? Yeah, Kringle, that's how you're going to do it? That's fucking hilarious. Fucking hilarious, brother. Yep, I got you. I understand where you're coming from. Got to make it happen. Yeah, I completely get it. I understand your fight to do something. I get it. I'm not mad. I understand. Ugh, fucking hell, boys. It's been a week and a half. Ask him about the AK-50. I definitely can. I think he just released a video the other day or last week about it. So I would assume the most up-to-date information is that. But, He kind of wanted to stay away from his topics and talk about normal, generalized things is what he wanted. So I've been leaning on that, so that way he enjoyed himself a little bit more. Oh, fucking hell. I am absolutely exhausted. Abso-fucking-lutely exhausted. Not a problem, man. I was just trying to be understanding of that, and that was what was going on.
All right. Sorry about that.
Not a problem, man. So one of the homies in the chat sent in a ask a question to the guest, asking you.
Oh dear. Oh no. I don't consent.
That he's a longtime fan. He works at Valley Gun in Bakersfield, California. That you were one of his idols looking at this.
Then he is mentally ill and needs help immediately.
And he said he loves you and he wants a shout
in
out.
This area.
So he wanted you to kringle his dingle and dingle his kringle and, you know, all of those things.
He wants to dingle my kringle. Oh, dear God. Christ.
Yeah.
Sorry, what was the question?
There wasn't even a question. It was just asking you for a shout out and to say hi. And that.
All right. Well, if the shout out is Mick Dingle Kringle, then I appreciate your support, brother, and best of luck.
So what I was saying, brother, Kringle, was so I put together a bunch of historical facts because it seems like obviously you enjoy history with liking guns, firearms, and all of those stories and those.
I do. I'm fucking obsessed.
I love history as well. So half of these, well, not half. Some of them are fake. Some of them are real. I want you to tell me which ones you think are real and fake.
All right, I'm down.
So, before toilet paper, Americans used corn cobs to wipe their ass.
I'll say real.
That is real.
Yeah.
The Avengers.
Some of us still do.
Yeah. The Avengers were a real group of humans that were a part of the armed forces who hunted Nazis during World War II.
And who was it?
The Avengers.
I'll say fake.
That is 100% real.
That's real. No shit. Okay, that one was hard. I wasn't sure.
Well, if that one was hard, this one's going to be even harder. Napoleon's hardest fight was at the beginning of a fox hunt where he was attacked by bunnies.
I'll say real.
That is 100% real.
That was just so weird that it had to be real.
Yeah.
Also, I'm gonna help out McDingle Kringle here. Valley Gun. Valley Gun. Say Valley Gun. Dang it. I will say Valley Gun.
Yeah. He messaged me 15 times getting you to try and say that.
Yeah,
which is why I skated around it the entire time. I was ribbing him back because I thought it was funny. He's our gun broker in the friend group, and he just started working in a gun shop. So, ketchup and Dr. Pepper were once sold as medicines.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna say true.
That is true.
Yeah.
The first vibrator was used as electroshock therapy for being insane.
All right, I don't like the phrasing, but I believe that's true.
Yes.
Yeah.
I phrased it obnoxiously, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm like I don't think electroshock therapy is not the right way of phrasing that. I don't think, but it was. I believe that.
Yeah.
It was for hysteria.
Yes,
for
it was
females, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was trying to label them in a way so that people could understand what the fuck they were talking about instead of it being 100% 1-to-1 exactly what it was.
Right. Electrocock therapy. I like that.
Ferrets, dogs, and monkeys were the most popular pets in ancient Rome, and they were used to hunt mice and rats instead of cats.
I'm gonna say it's fake.
100% true.
No shit. Okay. All right.
Yes.
It was
Ferrets were the things that were used to hunt mice instead of cats.
all right. Fuck. I believe that. There's the monkey part that threw me.
Yep. It's weird, which is why it's there.
Yeah. Fuck. All right.
There are more types of AKs than ARs.
That entirely depends on how you categorize both of those things.
Via Wikipedia. I'm a fucking retard. I'm not counting different manufacturers. I'm talking about
If you're not talking about different manufacturers, then more AKs than ARs was the question?
Yes.
Yes. That's 100% correct.
There's 20 AKs and 10 ARs on Wikipedia.
Yeah. I'm thinking like base level. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
that's true.
That was a rib at the government. Yeah, there's more AKs than ARs, you fucking retards.
Any rib at the government, I'm down for.
Exactly. Shark attacks are more likely than vending machine death.
False.
That is false. Americans drink 500 drinks worth of alcohol a year compared to 150 liters of soda a year.
True.
That is true.
Yeah.
It's 495 drinks worth of alcohol. But Charles Lindbergh was not the first to fly the Atlantic.
True.
That is true. Ford did not invent the first vehicle.
True. Yeah, very true.
Mercedes-Benz actually did. So it was not even an American.
Yeah, Mercedes-Benz, they did that like real fucking early, I think.
And the last one, War of the Worlds, the radio show, caused a huge controversy and hysteria.
All right. So I feel like there's two answers to this. One is like, yes, like the thing that everybody knows about, like that there was like a big thing where they like played it over the radio waves and it like caused this like big fucking thing. But I feel like that was overstated.
It was complete bullshit.
Yeah,
was
yeah.
it told over the radio? Yes, but it did not cause absolutely anything. It was like hearing a horror movie story on the radio instead of over the TV.
That's what I'd heard. Like I heard like, yes, like a couple people did fucking freak the fuck out, but like for the vast majority of the country, like everybody was like, okay, like this is just like listening to anything else, like any other like story time shit.
Yeah, so many people expected that to be absolutely true, and I believe being told that in school kind of pushed that as a much bigger thing than what it really was. But
yeah, like
people are retarded.
That was one that I was like, I don't know, like which one, like I don't feel like it's more than a true false thing, but like
No, I try to make it that way. It was the gray area of, was I just told this, or is this really fucking false? Because there's a lot of those things. Like Lindbergh, you're told in school, oh, he's the first one to fly across the Atlantic. Actually, he's the first American to do it. There was a British guy that did it a few months or a year beforehand.
When was Lindbergh? Was that like 1911? Something like that?
Something like that. It was right around the time before World War I, if I remember correctly. But I'm a retard and it's 12:30. Who the fuck knows?
You're in New York, yeah.
Yep, I'm in this shithole. I absolutely hate this place. I want to get the fuck out of here so fucking badly.
Yeah, I don't fucking blame you. Like New York's, that's a rough one.
It is weird because when you say New York, everybody imagines the city.
Yeah, well, like so, like I've got a friend of mine, like Rich, like Angry Cops, lives in Buffalo, New York.
Yeah, that's 5 hours west of me.
Yeah, he talks about it a lot, and like, he invited me to do a fucking ride along because he's still an active cop in Buffalo, and I feel like that would be really fun because Rich has like a superpower for getting into shit. It's like
getting into shit's fun.
It's hilarious, like how much he's in fucking like since I've known Rich, he's gotten into the news like 3 times. Like he's just always that fucking guy. Sometimes not even while being a cop. Sometimes literally just being a civilian, just like got to deal with this fucking. I really have to handle
this right now.
Yeah, like he's that fucking guy, and it's always hysterical to me.
I remember seeing my first drug deal at like 6 years old. My mom wanted to go to Dunkin' Donuts at 11 o'clock at night on the way to drop me off to my father's. And this dude was just standing out in front of fucking Dunkin' Donuts with a fucking trench coat. And our Dunkin' Donuts is in a strip mall. And this dude walks up, they slap hands, and they walk the opposite way. I was like, Mom, what the fuck just happened? She said, Shut the fuck up, Zach. Shut the fuck up, Zach. I'm like, looking back at that now, I'm like,
narc kid.
I was like, fuck. Like, that literally was probably just swapping fucking weed. That's all that probably was.
Yeah, especially nowadays.
It's weird to think that was fucking 20 years ago. God damn.
It's funny, like oh god, like being friends with like Cody and a few of the other guys who are just, you know, like former cops, being able to recognize drug deals randomly, because like they're like, even just being friends with them has increased my situational awareness. Like I always thought I had like decent situational awareness, but like just looking around like in a casual situation, like it's like I can't unsee stuff. Like I'm just like constantly scanning around, like looking at shit. And yeah.
And the shitty thing is the more you're aware of things, the more you fall into stereotypes and accepting those things as kind of the standard of what's going to happen too.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, yeah. And it's like once you see stuff, you can't unsee it, and like it's just like you're constantly looking for stuff. And now, like, yeah, it's kind of funny. Like a friend of mine was asking, because it was me, Cody, and his friend, like his Chocolate, we call him, like he's Cody's old partner from patrol and whatnot.
Yeah.
We were all just like, we were in a very public setting, and like a big crowd, and we were all just like kind of like just constantly doing the scanning thing, because like we were in a different city, we didn't have a gun, like we were just kind of like just constantly looking around. And somebody's like,
I always thought that was just my anxiety, man. Like,
no, dude.
I remember,
kind of like a little bit.
Like, I graduated high school, and like maybe for like a year or two afterwards, going to like July 4th, I wouldn't really pay attention to everybody else. But like hitting that 21 years old, I was like, oh, you're drunk. And just being very, very
constantly doing that.
Yep. Hyper vigilant of everybody.
But
hyper aware.
Somebody was saying like, bro, like, are you okay? Like, you look like a fucking meerkat. We're like, no, we're not okay. Like, I don't have a gun, and everybody here this is a lot of fucking people. Like, this is a target rich environment. I hate this.
Everybody here is half retarded or half drunk, and I'm not sure which one they are.
It's like, all it takes is one fucking asshole to make this a really dangerous situation, and there's 1,000 assholes. Like, I really hate that.
Well, like, a lot of the places
stresses me out now. Nothing stresses me out more than like a highly populated area. That fucking kills me.
A lot of those times, I'm the asshole that's just very loud. So once I start seeing something, I'll just pick at it. Very, very verbally. So I'm probably part of that problem. But I remember going to the 4th of July, and a lot of those times around here are like in fields and parks and stuff like that do not have the setup for 500-600 people to be in the same place. So it's a lot of no cops being there to direct traffic, people running into each other, people getting hit on the side of the road. I cannot tell you how many times people have jumped out in the middle of intersections just to direct traffic, and they're random fucking people. And how many times that ends up being me being the asshole that's loud and just telling people to fucking go and get the fuck up. Stop trying to hit people. Like, people act like absolute fucking idiots. And the level people act is fucking insane to me. Absolutely fucking insane.
I wish I had the confidence of the average person. Just like looking around, like the people that like clearly just don't see a fucking problem with their behavior at all. Like, man, good for you.
It's not even like they're confident either. It's like they're so ignorant of what they are doing that they don't understand the level that they just have it.
Lack of self-awareness. Yeah. It's like oh, like fuck, man.
There are some days where I'm confident, and there are some days where I feel like absolute dog shit. And nobody can tell the difference other than when this camera's on. That's the only difference you can tell. And there will be good days and bad days on camera or off camera. But the level of ignorance some people have to just do whatever the fuck they feel like is fucking insane.
Yeah,
Like that
like
impulse control is just gone.
they don't care either, which is the crazy part. Like they just genuinely don't give a fuck. Like it's kind of like that thing where you're like I'm not sure if they know how much of an asshole they're being, or if they're just like ignorant to it, but like they really just genuinely don't care.
It seems like they're prone to doing that situation because that's what they've seen their entire life. Where they get a giggle from their friend down the street, so therefore it's accepted always. Like my fucking cousin, who was like my sister for the longest time, she thought it was hilarious being the dude girl.
Yeah,
Like the chick that just hung
the
out with
tomboy.
not even necessarily the tomboy. She was a weird amalgamation of fucked up. Now she wears pussy hats and thinks that she's better than everybody else. But
so Amy Schumer.
Yeah, so she would think it was hilarious to belch and fart at any
So
time.
Amy Schumer.
Yeah. But it was really weird watching her change into being a pussy hat BLM super obnoxious person. Like it's just super fucking weird.
Yeah,
like she went from it is strange watching people just accept, oh, well, I need something now, therefore let's just bitch and complain.
It's so weird how people people view politics in a very interesting way, which is maybe I'm fucked up in the way that I always looked at politics as kind of like just like a civic duty, like in like the regard of like it's a high moral principle thing, right? Like this is how you look at life. This is how you view society. Like this is how you view the way things should be. And
I
like
see it the
80%,
same way.
80% of the population sees politics as what do I want? What can people give me? What can this country provide?
Exactly.
Oh, do I want a free thing? Yes, that I should have a free thing. And it fucking kills me. Like I absolutely hate that.
And it's like that person could grow up with the same fucking morality as you, but the second that they're given something for saying the thing, all of a sudden it's fucking acceptable.
It drives me fucking crazy. Like the government is not your fucking dad. The government is not your fucking protector. Like
I follow this Facebook. It is if she's not a single mother, she will be in a few minutes.
Jesus.
And it's just a whole bunch of ratchet ass females, but it's fucking hilarious because of this one thing that they started catching on to. They're like, it's really funny when they do this. And it said, well, I'm a single mother, therefore I need this. And it's like asking for like $400, $500 thing. Well, being a single mother isn't a discount code.
Jesus.
And it's just like
it's irresponsibility. And to be fair to God, like don't hold this against me. Like to be fair to women, like that's not always the case. Like sometimes you do have just a shitbag dad, but like fucking hell. Like,
but that doesn't mean you just go like, and that's
the government's not your dad. Like that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. It's like the government is not there to give you everything you didn't have. The government
life is hard. You are not given anything. If you no longer have that value, maybe you should find a way to obtain it again. And selling yourself is not the way. Doing the things that you need to do is the way that you need to actually go about it. And expecting handouts from people by showing your ass cheek to people for quarters is not the answer either.
The government is there to be an arbitrator. It is there to protect property rights. It's there to protect your natural rights. It's there to be like the basic order of things. It's not there to give you things you don't have. That's not what it's for. Like that's not what it's ever been for.
No,
and somehow we've turned it into that.
It's insane because like growing up poor as fuck, I understand where having a safety net of things is viable. I understand it to the baseline of it. But what it's become and the level that things have become is absolutely fucking insane.
Yeah. And like even to the degree that like I'm not I wouldn't argue against the idea of safety nets, but I would probably argue against the idea of government safety nets. Because like the only thing, the only entity that could run anything worse than, private corporations or the church is the government.
Yep.
Like they're like the worst
and I
fucking
had that
person you could ever
conversation with,
hand things
and I
off
had
to.
that conversation with Isaiah last week. I said, it's really funny. All of the AA meetings, NA meetings, all of that shit, at least around me, and as far as I know, a lot of them are religious based. Oh, find God and it'll heal you. Find God and it'll fix this. I said, that's the most disgusting thing in the world. He's like, why? I said, in the grand scheme of things, they are expecting you, after taking their time, effort, and stuff like that, to come back on Sunday and pay them. And if people don't see that, then they're blind. And it's very hard, as somebody who doesn't believe at all, or trying to understand how to believe, or trying to understand what to believe, or even trying to find strength in something, like somebody who is at the weakest point in their life, that will dictate what they do for the rest of their life, whether it impacted them positively or not.
I don't agree with that part, because I've known so many fucking people.
I'm not saying that there's not a positive outlook on it. I'm saying that they are.
No, I get that. I get that.
Okay.
I don't think it's the profit motive.
Which I think that there is part of that in negative situations, not all of them.
Yeah, and like to a degree that might be true. Yeah. I don't think that a lot of people go in with that profit motive, because like I think a lot of people, like, regardless of whether or not you believe, like I think a lot of people, like, they think that this is the right message to teach, whether or not you come back and pay them or not.
Exactly. And I completely agree with that. Like, I don't think that there should be a religious aspect to food pantries, but 99% of them are. I don't think that there should be saying that this came from God isn't like you're a good person. Let it just be because you're a good person or run a good business or whatever. It doesn't have to be God. It doesn't have to be a higher power. There's more availability for good people doing good things in the right aspect than just always tying something back to something being bigger than you.
I guess I'm conflicted by that. Yeah, that's an interesting point.
Like it's hard, because I was very, very agnostic and very, very atheist for a very, very long time. And that aspect of me is changing probably by the day. But
dude, fucking literally same. Like I was militantly atheist when I was in like my late teenage years, right? Like I was upset by people who believed in God, like, right? And like it is just like, it is so fucking come full circle, man. Like I'm not necessarily like a deep believer or anything like that, but the more I read, I'm like, man, like I at least believe in the principles that this is teaching. Like this is a net good in society.
And it's weird when you're like, I don't agree with any of this, but morality wise, why the fuck does it all line up? Because that's fucking weird. And it's just like, and Bimu says something. It doesn't have to be God. It just has to be a higher power of your own understanding.
Yeah, it's maybe I'm not the most religious person, but like you guys are all based as fuck, and I really enjoy like all of your shit. and
that's my point, is like finding that strength in yourself would heal the situation completely. In the AA, NA situation, I would assume. I don't have those demons. I don't struggle with them. So understanding them to that level, I might not. But being able to find that strength to battle addiction and battle it yourself would be the most beneficial part of the situation, in my humble opinion.
And this might be like a personal question. Have you ever had to struggle with anything like that? Like any like legitimate like addiction, like something that you didn't think that you were capable of handling yourself?
More mental health than addiction, which is
that's
why
fair.
I think, yeah.
But
no, not addiction. I've never dealt with that shit other than caffeine, which is still never going to be beaten. But
the only thing I've got like close to that is like, things like alcohol, which I mean, I drink a lot, but at the same time, like for example, like for the fight, I went sober for 6 weeks and had no problem.
You put it down.
Yeah. Like I have the ability to put it down when I know that, like, yes, alcohol is fun, but like when I need to do that to accomplish a goal, like I can do it like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but some people
Like,
sometimes some people like rely on an outside source for that, which like
so I'm so aware of addiction and those problems that I even take breaks from my ADHD medications. That way I don't even have the question of, oh, well, you're addicted to that.
if you
Nope,
don't mind me
I
asking, what do
don't.
you take?
I take Adderall.
Okay, yeah, I'm prescribed Adderall as well. I don't take it for the vast majority of the time, but I have the
Yep.
same prescription.
I normally take it 4 or 5 days a week, and I take a week off guaranteed every month.
Instant or extended?
Instant.
Instant is a lot scarier in my
Yep.
experience. Yeah, because the extended is a lot more like kind of normal. Uh, Instant is very much more like methamphetamine based, to my
Yeah. From
understanding.
when I was talking to my, I get them backwards. I believe that's the psychiatrist that diagnoses medication and gives all of that stuff out. I get them backwards though. It's being a retard. But a lot of that shit what is more dependent on what you actually struggle with.
Yeah,
She said, as long as I'm able to wake up and take it at an appropriate time, that's as long as you're regimented in what you do, you're okay. It's just being aware and hyper vigilant and not accepting when you need to just take a step back, be very, very genuine, be very aware, be very hyper aware of what you're doing. And if you don't need it, take the break.
yeah,
If you do need it, do what you need to do. Literally, I have extra months that I've skipped getting my script because that's how on top of the shit I am.
yeah. I mean, honestly, yeah. I like what it does for me, and like especially when I first started taking it, like I really was on top of my shit, and like I was doing a lot of stuff for my
It
business. But like,
healed my depression, as stupid as that sounds.
no, I get it. No, I no, I really fucking get it.
It healed my suicidal ideation that I've dealt with since I was 4.
Yeah,
That
and like I'm
that is
not to that
big.
degree, but I understand it. I
Yeah.
understand what you're saying.
Like just
Um,
being able to walk through a fucking parking lot and not feeling, oh, well, I don't give a fuck if a car hits me today is a great fucking time. I don't like feeling that.
yeah, yeah. It's vastly preferred.
No,
I,
it's just it's so surreal to be able to not have that impending feeling every single time that you walk somewhere, every single time you do something.
yeah, no, I understand. I understand what you're saying, but like, not. I wasn't nearly to that degree, right? But
Well,
like,
that's mental illness as a whole. Everybody's different. Everybody deals with different things and different aspects and stuff like that.
yeah, I just wish that like I could go back to when I originally was like started taking it, because like that, it honestly did something for me in my brain that like really helped me build my business and really helped me like build the person that I am today.
As stupid as it sounds, though, that first month feels like it completed me as a person almost.
Yes, yeah,
Like it
and I've
connected
never been
something that I
able.
was missing.
And I've never, it's the same, it's the shit you hear. Like, you're like, oh, you're always chasing that dragon. Like, I've never been able to get that back.
I remember the most surreal thing, and it sounds stupid to anybody who actually doesn't have ADHD and takes the medication, but anybody who actually suffers with it probably will have something similar to this. I remember taking the medicine for the first time. I said, let's see what it does. I just
Mhm.
want to know. I'm going to let it do whatever it's going to do. Within 5 minutes, I watched the lines of the road that I was traveling on because I took it literally as I walked out of the pharmacy. The lines went from me not being able to see them. My mom was going 45 miles an hour. So the lines completely were just straight blurs to being able to see the skips in the line
Mm.
and watching everything all of a sudden go from like almost standard def to ultra HD. It was one of the most surreal things I've ever like
Have you ever
felt
looked into how the
as a
medication
whole.
works?
A lot of it is reconnecting nervous tissue within your brain and stuff like that, and picking up more
Like,
receptors of
well,
dopamine and stuff like that.
yeah. Definitely for dopamine receptors. One of the most cogent like explanations to it I've ever heard. And then I've got to run soon, but like,
Yeah, I know.
uh,
No, whenever you
no,
want to go, you're fine. I was just talking because
no,
where are
you're
we
all good,
going?
man. The one of the most cogent explanations I ever heard was basically talking about how essentially being ADHD, which, you know, if you are, if you aren't, whatever, but like I'm formally prescribed like ADHD, right?
Yep, me too.
The reason why you can't focus on things or like complete tasks or whatever is because your brain is constantly like dopamine deficient, where you're looking for new things to get dopamine from. The reason you look at the bird out the window is because like you're looking for that dopamine rush of like seeing the fucking bird out the window. So the idea is if you introduce more dopamine to your brain, then you can focus on tasks easier. Like that made so much fucking sense to me. Like
exactly. Almost to the level that if you say out of 100, you need 25% worth of ADHD bullshit on top of that.
Yeah.
And you have 125% attention. And that's how I see it. And you always have to remove that 25% before you're even able to reach a 0 of a normal person.
Have you ever watched the movie Limitless?
No, I haven't.
Do it. First of all, because it's a fucking great movie. Bradley Cooper is one of my favorite actors. Like, it's just a great fucking movie. I'm probably gonna watch it when I leave. It's fucking fantastic movie, but it explains ADHD to a level I've never fucking seen before. It's so good.
Like, if I'm sitting here talking to people, like our talk and conversation today, I was talking with you, I was talking with Chiz, I had 3 different other conversations going. I'm sending emails, getting everything set up for this, playing Call of Duty because the update just released, and doing 15 different things all at the same time. And you want to know how many people ask if I'm slacking? 0. Yeah. But it's because I have to reach that level of mental acuity to reach that 25-30%. And after I reach that 5-10% over normal people, it just is progressive and expounds past what they are able to do on a normal daily basis. It's weird because you can watch me struggle in that first 20%. Like if I'm trying to go to sleep, I have to reach 20% of my mental strength before I'm able to rest my mind enough to go to sleep. So I have to be able to be consuming content of some kind.
What's weird is that alcohol is the same way.
Yep.
Yeah, which is that's, you know, its own problem in itself. Or it's just like, you know, like this is literally like easier for me to do business meetings if I've, you know, had a drink or two.
Yeah.
It's the same fucking brain chemicals firing off. You're just like, oh yeah, okay, this is like now a level I can operate on. It's fucking wild. But seriously, like if you watch Limitless, like it describes what Adderall does better than any movie I have ever fucking seen, and it does it on accident because it's talking about like this fucking brain miracle drug, whatever, that is not real, but like it genuinely describes instant release Adderall better than I've ever seen.
No, it's really, really funny because like I've been accused of that shit so much in the fucking comments, especially the one where my face popped up when I was fucking editing the podcast live. They're like, "Oh, look at that meth head." I was like, "Yeah, fuck."
I remember seeing that on the fucking the subreddit. Like I don't remember that because like I'll watch the episodes every now and again, you know, whatever. But like I don't remember seeing that, but I saw it on the fucking subreddit.
But yeah. We'll see you fucking next time, boys. Go check out Gfuel. I'm not going to hold Brandon up anymore. I know he said he wanted to go, and I'm not going to make him be like, yeah, it's over. So thank you guys. Have a good one. We'll see you next fucking week. And end.